Broadcasting to you live from the Orion spiral arm of the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, somewhere outside of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, where LeBron James will be playing the next season in the NBA. My name's Brian Engelman. This is Friday, July 24th, 2026, and this right here, the thing that you're watching, it's called the TNAM Daily Show. Why is my light not showing my finger? Why's my finger? Oh, there we go. That was no, now it's back to it again. Maybe I need 3 more lights around me. You're watching the TNAM Daily Show here on the New American Media. On today's show, Shiloh Hendrix convicted of being white. No. Convicted of hate speech. No. Convicted of, looks at notes. How can we turn this into a crime? Disorderly conduct in Minnesota. You remember that case from last year? Verdict's in. What do you think about it? Where do you stand? Do you think Shiloh Hendrix should have the hammer drop on her for saying a word? Say a word and be punished severely? Got to double check, but I think it's $1,000 fine and 5 weeks of 40-hour weeks of restitution because some kid stole some stuff from her and she said a bad word, or she thought some kid stole some stuff from her and she said a bad word, or she was coaxed and harassed by a Somali guy in Minnesota to say a word so that he could ruin her life. And then she raised $850,000 on a Give, Send, Go campaign. I don't know. What do you make about that? Tell me in chat. And yeah, I'm a sports guy. The Unhappy Hour Sports Show. If you want some merch, let me know. I'll send it to you. But the Unhappy Hour Sports Show started in Cleveland. You know, I was born and raised outside of Cleveland, Ohio. This set of coasters, Ohio-made wooden coasters, was from the state of Ohio, created in the state of Ohio. Shaped like the state of Ohio. Kind of shaped like a heart. Home is where the heart is. I wanted LeBron James to sign with the Cleveland Cavaliers. That's not happening. And it's disgusting. Andy's got every right to do whatever the hell he wants. Whatever. But screw you, man. Actually, I believe, let me ask Grok real quick. Did LeBron once promise to retire as a Cavalier? Let's double check, because I vividly recall this. In which case, coming back to Cleveland this year would have made a whole bunch of sense. Grok is taking its sweet time taking a look at this one. Yeah. 2014 Sports Illustrated essay announcing his return to Cleveland from Miami. He wrote, "I always believed that I'd return to Cleveland and finish my career there. I just didn't know when." 2017, while still with the Cavs, he reaffirmed that those intentions hadn't changed and nodded when asked directly if he planned to finish his career in Cleveland. Left for the Lakers in 2018 and has not returned for a third stint. The statements were expressions of intent and belief rather than a rigid contractual promise. But he did say it more than once. And then he flirted with Cleveland for the past how many weeks? Weeks and weeks and weeks? Gross. Anyway, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, even if you're unhappy with that story. If you're unhappy with Shiloh, did I call her Marks? What was Shiloh? What's her name? She's in the title. Hendrix. Yeah, I knew it wasn't Marks. Hendrix. I knew there was an X. Regardless if any of these stories are making you happy or making you angry or making you confused, hit the thumbs up button regardless. Thank you to the new monthly subscriber, by the way, to the TNAM Daily Show, the New American Media in general, because we do more than just daily news content over here. We do the TNAM. What do we do? Strictly Football. We do Strictly Football. We do the Unhappy Hour Sports Show. And so, yeah, thank you to our new monthly subscriber. And if any of you appreciate the content that we're doing, and if you want to just do some good in the world, please consider hitting the subscribe button on Patreon at The New American Media, YouTube, and Rumble at The New American Media, or you can drop a Rumble rant or super chat one-time tip. I believe it's super easy once you become a monthly subscriber and you have a card on file. It's super easy to toss some silver coins into the tip jar behind me. There you go. Kind of like over the shoulder. Yeah, like that. That was the one. Right into the tip jar. Rumble rant, super chat. And I'll put the links down here because you can also do Venmo or Cash App. It's Brian Engelman, or PayPal, fuzzinstallment@yahoo.com. Just pause the screen and make a donation today. We're trying to wrap up. July is a very strong month. July has been a solid month on our YouTube analytics, and we're within striking distance. I mean, we got a week left. How strong do we need to finish to become the #1 month of earned revenue on YouTube? It's doable. Let me say that. It is doable. But July's been a solid month, and we encourage all of your support. If you've never supported us on YouTube by dropping a Rumble rant tip or a subscription, please consider doing so today. It's been a very good month on Rumble as well. Thank you to all of you who make my shift. This is my job, my day shift. You know, I'm seeing some signs of progress. We are not where we want to be. We want this whole restaurant filled. We want every bar seat filled. We want the bar to be 3 people deep. We want so many people coming in here with thumbs up and sharing the show on Facebook. Please click the arrow button. It's kind of like this. Then it's got the little pointy thing. You know what an arrow looks like. Click it and it'll copy the link. Then go to a friend's text message, hold and press your button, and it'll copy the link and drop it and send it to them and say, hey, join us on the show. Invite all your friends, please. You got one person at a 6-top. Bring 5 more friends. Fill up all the chairs. I really do have grand plans about this turning into that. Ghost of Mitch McConnell making another appearance in our Rumble chat. I need another shot of embalming fluid. Elaine, are you here? I'll take all the jokes. I'll take all the comments. I'll take all the questions. I'll take all of the fact checking, and I'll take your suggestions for stories to cover. I believe it was Alberta Arnold, or Arn, we can call him. I think it was Alberta Arnold that said, are you covering Section 219? I go, I don't know. I thought they took it out. They put it back in. What are we even doing here? People are pissed about this, and it's not quite done. But some people worry that the United States is done if we scramble our eggs permanently with somebody else. And who would have warned us against doing such a thing? Merging and blending our military with Israel? Why on earth would we do that? Well, they're our greatest ally, don't you know? Uh-huh. Anybody out there, raise your hand. Raise your hand if you're sure. Anybody have an ex-wife, an ex-husband? Make it simpler. An ex-fiance, even simpler. An ex-boyfriend or girlfriend? Maybe at one point you thought everything was peachy keen and you figured this was it. We're going to do this forever. Until it wasn't. Either something changed for you, something changed for them, something changed to both of you, regardless. Hey, has anybody ever worked a job and you're like, this is it. This is great. I'm doing well. I'm good at this. I'm good enough. I'm smart enough. And doggone it, people like me. What's that from? Tell me in chat. Easter egg. Tell me my Easter egg joke reference. I'm good enough. I'm smart enough. And doggone it, people like me. I don't know if the thumbs up comes in there, but I'm adding it. You got that sweet job, and then bam, you're fired. Or, performance improvement plan, the PIP, you get the 30-day notice, and you're dead man walking. You know it, they know it. I know it, you know it, the American people know it. And then, you're hitting the bricks. You're on the unemployment line. You're singing that Aloe Black song that I do want to karaoke. I need a dollar, dollar, dollar is what I need. It's fun to sing. Why would we ever entangle ourselves permanently with anybody else? The whole intro to this and the concern over Section 219 is not anti-Semitism. I don't know who I have disdain for and not more. The people who really do hate the Jews and Israel's right to exist, and river to the sea, it's not so bad, and Hamas and Hezbollah and Palestine, they're it's an illegitimate country. They should be wiped off the face of the earth in a genocide or something. But then they hate Bibi and say, you're committing genocide. And you go, well, pick a lane, pal. So do I have more disdain for the Jew haters, either the ones that are pretending that they don't with an air of superiority and, oh, no, that's not me. Just everything wrong in the world is because of the Jews, and I don't want them to exist as a nation anymore, and I don't like them at all. But no, I'm not hateful. I am wise and intelligent. Or do I hate the group that calls everything a wolf? That's anti-Semitic. That's anti-Semitic. That's anti-Semitic. There's a wolf. There's a wolf. There's a wolf. Everyone comes running. Just kidding. There's no wolf. Can I equally dislike both groups? Because I don't really put myself into either camp. Did you just say camp in referencing? Brian, where was your editing? Where was your production team to make sure you didn't put yourself into a camp? So stupid. All this shit's so stupid. It's so stupid. Obsessing over this stuff is so stupid. And not being able to laugh at obvious jokes are so stupid. That actually wasn't a joke. I said it and I went, maybe I could have phrased it. But no, you're in a camp. You're either in the I hate Jews camp or the everything is anti-Semitic and I'm a perpetual victim and woe is me for eternity camp. Both of these sides doing this. And I'm just sitting here in the middle going, what is wrong with both of you? I just kind of usually tend to step back and you guys do your thing. Do your thing. Don't make me root for the Red Sox or the Yankees. Don't. I'm a Cleveland Indians fan. I don't give a shit about your teams. Like I don't wake up every day saying, how did the Jews do me wrong? And I don't wake up every day saying, the Jews are always victims and we got to defend them. They're our greatest ally and we got to spend all our money on the Jews. Like I just try to step back like Homer Simpson. Okay, just slowly descending and retreating into the hedgerow, into the bushes. Like, I'm just going to go this way now. Y'all have at it. I don't want to be a part of any of your bullshit. I don't want we're God's chosen people and we were promised all this land 1,000,000 years ago and everybody hates us for no good reason and we're victims, so give us money and we're entitled to all of this spending from the United States forever. Okay. The Jews are responsible for all the problems on earth and oh my gosh, they're ruining everything. That list goes forever. I don't need to regurgitate it for you. And in one of my libertarian chats, I was chastised for not covering 219. Why? Well, because the person didn't watch the show and didn't know that I did play Marjorie Taylor Greene's explanation of 219 and why it shouldn't happen. Because it wasn't in the title. Because they didn't watch the show. And I gave them a big one of these. If you don't know what I'm referencing, I'm not going to get into it. But I just said, hey, screw you. You didn't watch the show. You don't know what was in the show. And by the way, I'm not on Israeli payroll getting that sweet, sweet $7,000 a post bankroll. I just don't care about constantly living inside. Like imagine I'm talking about scrambling your eggs together. You can't unscramble eggs. You mix them all together. That's why you don't sign up to be a permanent life partner with Israel. You don't sign it with Ukraine. You don't sign it with Mexico. You don't sign it with Canada. Don't sign it with Indonesia. You don't sign it with anybody. Our founding fathers warned us about this. Because one day you might have a divorce. Have any of you been through a divorce with kids? Have any of you been a kid whose parents divorced? Have you ever been on the backside of this? And you got dad over here saying this, and you got mom over here saying this, and you're just going, shut the front door. I don't want to hear it. So can I, A, not want to erase and destroy from the river to the sea in a full and complete genocide of all Jews? Can I hold that opinion that I don't subscribe to the idea that we should nuke Israel off the face of the map from the river to the sea? Palestine will be free. And the only way to do that is to get rid of the Jews. Is it okay if I don't hold that position? And that I also say, hell no to Section 219? Are you out of your mind? No, I don't want to permanently entangle myself with anybody else, especially with our military. No, every alliance is temporary. Yes, I can obviously hold both of these two positions at once. I think. Am I allowed to do that? There's a third question. I'm curious. Is 219 as bad as advertised? I'm not here to make the case that it's not as bad as advertised. I'm just legitimately asking because I'm following 219, and then they voted, and then it was taken out. Then I hear 4 senators did a flip-flop. I wonder if they were blackmailed or bribed or threatened or what have you. Don't know. And then now 219 is back in, but it's back into something that hasn't passed. I kind of, for the most part, don't generally get too invested in stories that haven't even finalized yet. We're in the middle. How many times did I bring up the LeBron James free agency saga? Oh, he's talking with the Golden State Warriors. Oh, he's talking to the Miami Heat. He's talking to the Cavaliers. He's talking to the Philadelphia 76ers. Oh, he's talking to the Minnesota Timberwolves. Yeah, because there's going to be a lot of yapping until a decision is made. So no, I don't breathlessly wake up to figure out what story is the most anti-Trump, anti-MAGA story that I can put out there that I can just be negative all day. No, I'd rather not be negative all day about this administration. It does. Now, there's a far cry. That's a far cry from always giving them the benefit of the doubt. That is not what I'm saying. But especially unless the ink is dried, what are we even wasting our energy on? Okay, so saying that, I have put a lot of energy into Fauci and Rand Paul and promoting that we go ahead and indict Fauci. That's something that hasn't happened yet. But, we're also 6 years into this thing going, for the love of God. He's lied to Congress. He funded the bioweapons research. They unleashed a genocide on planet Earth. Killed half my family. Is this not something that I can advocate for and push for? So in that vein, why am I not up on my chair screaming and banging the computer every day that Israel has too much influence and Section 219 is an absolute disaster and we're selling out our sovereignty to a foreign nation? Once again, not that it's Israel in some sort of permanent partnership. It's the fact that it's anybody other than the United States. My seething rage for all thing Jew doesn't exist. It doesn't exist in that manner either. But my raging love for America says we should not enter into a permanent entanglement and scramble our eggs with anyone anywhere. But in our echo chambers, I got libertarians. No. How do I frame this? I've got anti-MAGA folks permanently, consistently, reliably, relentlessly singing their praises of how they are libertarian and superior to the rest of us. And they always side with the Democrats. Almost like they're not Republican or MAGA at all. Oh, well, they'll tell you, hey, there's no MAGA, it's MEGA. The Jews run Trump. Don't you know that? See, Jared Kushner's Jewish or something. So, he's run by the Jews and he's worked with banks. Trump has worked with banks. He's run by the Jews. A lot of these friends will say. I'm sitting here going, I once again, I'll sort of step back. I'll fade into the bushes and go, really? Okay. Can we prove that Epstein had blackmail on Trump and that's why we bombed Iran? Can we prove that Trump did anything wrong in these Epstein files? Well, Trump said it was a hoax. He said that his guilt and involvement was the hoax part, that it's mostly Democrats who gave into their hedonistic, abusive ways. No, he very inelegantly said it, and I was really pissed when we're still talking about that guy? Total loser. It's a hoax. And we went, what the fuck are you talking? It's not a hoax. It was a blackmail scheme. It was a honeypot scheme. It was to catch the politicians in the spider web, and then you got them trapped forever. Speaking of spider webs and bugs, I think I got bit on my leg. I keep trying to deal with that. Like recently, because it's kind of itchy. Oh no, maybe it was one of those nanobot mosquitoes that just gave me SARS or COVID or the virus or the next thing that's coming around. Because by the way, yeah, that's all coming. I mean, we had a good run, humanity. We had a good run. Sometimes I think the EMP is coming and it's going to be hell on earth when it happens. And other times I think, well, the EMP is coming. So thankfully, we're going to get out from underneath all this technological surveillance grid hellscape that we've embarked upon without thinking about the repercussions and the consequences. I don't know. Do you know? Are you pessimistic or optimistic generally? I don't know. Where was the comment? I saw a funny comment I was going to reference. Did I reference it or did I think about referencing it? Well, I do like the fact that Brian has diabetes. Yeah, I was researching the LeBron James story just so I could tell you he signed a 2-year, $8 million deal with the Sixers. I'm trying to find out if it's $8 million per year, $4 million for 2 years, or player option. Is that 1 year? He's not coming to Cleveland. So, I mean, it would make it even more sweet to defeat LeBron and the Sixers than screw him. And also, LeBron owes nothing to Cleveland. He brought us a championship, but what are you doing, dude? What are you doing? It's not like Cleveland had a bum team. If Cleveland had a bum team, we went to the Eastern Conference Championship. We've got a very good team. But anyway, that's the diabetes was because of that. I was like, what? It broke as I was getting ready to launch the show. I think something is biting me down here. I think I just felt it again. So help me if I get a couple of bites right here. I'm going to have to bring the bug zapper over. Got one of those Zevos. You know what those things are? Anyway. Yeah. Okay. What is this? Brian just let you know, okay, I have cell phone problems and need to address that. Okay. Brandon Gill's father-in-law is Dinesh D'Souza. Oh, Dinesh. Oh, that's Danielle D'Souza Gill. Is that okay? I know she puts good stuff out there. Yeah, I've seen her and I go, D'Souza, is that the same? Yeah, there is a mosquito in here. I'm gonna launch the show and see if I can't off this doggone son of a thing. Buckle up, buttercups. The TNAM Daily Show starts now.
Guide to the newamericanmedia.com.
Well, everybody, thanks for being here. Yeah, so I'm going to be paranoid the whole show. I feel like something did just bite me, and it's a pretty big bug bite already. I thought I felt it on my other leg, too. And I'm a sitting duck. I sit here and do the show. Yeah. Danette says that's what they want. Martial law, data centers, surveillance, flock cameras, cryptocurrency. Yeah. And the thing about flock cameras, don't get tricked into it. It's not that we're anti-flock. If we destroy flock, it just lets the rival company come in. If we hate Pepsi and just focus on Pepsi, no, it's about sugary, not cane sugar. They use high fructose corn syrup. We need to be against sugary cola drinks, not just Pepsi or not just Coke. But yeah. Yeah. Okay. Questions from people in chat. Danette, did you receive your mug? Patriot Warrior. If your container of honey has coagulated at the bottom, what do we do next? Patriot Warrior sent some honey along with some mugs. By the way, if anyone wants a mug that I sent Danette, they're $40. It includes $12 shipping and handling across the United States. It's a fundraiser for me, and it is something for you to drink your coffee out of to support the program. But yeah, checking to see if you received that. It got mailed out, I think the day after you ordered it. And thank you for that. All right. How about this? How about we get into the stories, shall we? We'll start on Instagram. Please follow us on Instagram, The New American Media. Benny Johnson here. Oh, I didn't press play. Why are you playing? Okay, hang on, guys. Try this again. Playback is wonky. All right, this lady has her mind blown by MAGA. Or as my fake libertarian friends say, MEGA. No, it's not Make America Great. It's Make Israel Great, dummy. President Trump's not doing anything to make America better. Okay. Right. President Trump hasn't done a single thing to make America better. Everything he's done is bad. Okay. Yeah, there's no MAGA. It's MEGA. Okay. Fake libertarian buddy. Sure. Anyway, I digress. Her mind was just blown by MAGA, says Benny Johnson.
Well, I'm at the gas station. No biggie, right? So I just had my first interaction with a red hat, right? A red hat. So I'm going in there. I want to get me a little brownie or something before I start my shift. And he held the door open for me. And I was like, oh, thank you. And he was like, no problem, sweetie. It's like, you guys are actually nice. Like,
the nicest. Who are the meanest people? Awfuls. Angry white female leftists. The angriest, meanest. And I guess you could put the small percentage of men in the Democrat Party. Very mean. No, people on the right are really nice. Just be a cool person, and we'd love to treat you with coolness. That's it. No complications. It's that easy.
I thought you hated us. Like,
why do you think we hate you? Disconnect from your media sources and your lying politicians. Why would I hate you? Because you're a woman? Why would I hate you? Because you're black? Why would I hate you? Because I don't hate anyone until they give me a reason to. I don't hate anyone unless they give me a reason to. And yeah, if you start seeing, oh boy, my instant recall on the number of Pakistani grooming gang victims. I believe it was between 250 and 400,000. So yeah, if there's roughly 300,000 attacks on white British girls from Pakistani grooming gang invaders, you can call it an army. You're coming in and brutalizing us. That needs to be dealt with swift justice. Touch a girl, touch a kid, touch a woman, try to steal their purity. Yeah, that's an act of war. No, you don't get to just do that. No, that's an attack. So if it's happened 300,000 times, yeah, you start looking at the Pakistani invading population as they are ritualistically brutalizing the people of England, and you go, yeah, now I kind of got a problem with the Pakistanis. And no, that doesn't mean you dislike everybody who is Pakistani. But you look at the averages, you look at the numbers, and you say, what is so ingrained in this culture? Why are we being targeted by them specifically? We got a problem on our hands. Actuaries. There was a Ben Stiller movie with Jennifer Aniston. What was the name of that movie even? Do I even know the name of the movie? I don't know if I might have watched it. I think I watched it. But he worked for the insurance companies. And it's like, well, we'll just not deal with an issue. But if the front suspension on our if our front suspension on the 2023 Ford Ranger, do they even make Rangers anymore? Ford Ranger has caused enough accidents, we got to do a recall. It's mathematics. Well, how many payouts do you have to have if somebody gets in an accident and passes away, and then there's a lawsuit, and then they sue the company for $250,000 or $2 million? They have to figure out, is the cost of the recall going to be more or less than the cost of settling all the lawsuits? Okay. So yeah. I mean, if this lady was taught that MAGA members hate people like her, well, then you got to ask the question, why? Is it the lying legacy media? Or is it generally, like I said at the beginning, that MAGA members just want to be cool and have people be cool to them? But if they start noticing certain demographics of Americans causing a disproportionately large amount of violent crimes and problems, such as you will find in the statistics in the Black community, well, that's not because of you, miss. It's because of the demographic problem. What is it? 13% of the country is Black, and they make up 55% of the murders, something like that. 1351, 1352, 13 to 55, or something like that. No, that's a systemic problem. So if you have people on the right or otherwise who look at any random Black person and hate them, that's not cool. However, it's okay to be suspicious in England if you're a 13-year-old white British girl walking home and you see 3 creepy Pakistani dudes hanging out at the corner who start to advance on you. No, it's not inherent racism if you cross the street and want to avoid any potentiality that you're going to become a statistic. That's just analysis. That's just demographic analysis of the situation. And by the way, this will tie into the Shiloh Hendrix case. The Somali guy who may or may not have been accused of R-ing a 16-year-old girl, and they let him off the hook or something. The place where Tim Walz says it doesn't make Minnesota safer to deport S criminals, S abusers. This guy who baited her and egged her on to get her saying something offensive on camera so that he could ruin her life so she can't ever work again. And maybe that act in itself is toxic. I don't know. You can tell me in chat what you think. No, Pakistan is not related to Wreck-It Ralph. We got Pakistan and we got Wreck-It Ralph. Both together. Anyway, she's just surprised. Like, you guys are nice? Like, yeah. MAGA members want to be nice to everyone unless we start seeing a problem and problems need to get fixed. No, we don't want vandalism, petty crime, theft, violence, abuse. No, we don't want it. That's it. It's very simple. What the right is asking for, what most libertarians are asking for, what MAGA members are asking for. Just be cool. We want the right to be left alone. We don't want to live in a world that feels like we're wearing an ankle monitor 24/7. Sorry. I know I feel like I'm going on and on, but there's sort of like a lot of angles to unpack and connect to that Shiloh Hendrix case coming up, but let her continue.
You're nice people?
Yeah.
You actually believe in chivalry?
Despite the feminist attempt to destroy chivalry, yeah, a certain degree of chivalry is pretty awesome. However, since men have been so targeted over the past probably 60s through now, specifically past 65 years or so, men have become far less chivalrous. Because, like I said before, you got a mom and a dad and you got kids in the middle of a divorce and you're like, just get me out of here. Just like, I hate Israel. I love Israel. We're always victims and give us more. I hate Israel. They're a problem with everything in the world. I go, all right, can you guys fight? And I'm just going to go that way. Figure it out. Figure out your stuff. I don't want to I don't want to be a part of that. Yeah, I think most people just want to go about their day and be left alone. But chivalry? Yeah, chivalry. I mean, the feminists, the feminazis tried to destroy it. The left has destroyed it. I mean, ask anyone who's tried to get custody of their kid. Ask anyone who's had to pay for a decade and a half to somebody who no longer loves them, because I've grown accustomed to a certain lifestyle. Yeah, well, I've grown accustomed to a wife that wants to hang around and be loyal and be productive and helpful and loving and supportive. I don't get what I want, but you're going to get 15 years of my salary? Screw you. You wonder why people aren't getting married and having kids? Well, part of the reason is because of how punitive it's been toward men, toward fathers, toward the husbands. Now, by the way, if you've been divorced and you're hearing that, say, wait a minute, and you're standing up, getting ready to yell. Plenty of deadbeat dads, plenty of cheaters, plenty of losers, plenty of addicts. I got it. There's also plenty of those on the women's side too. But the court system has been so stacked against men, it's no surprise that we are losing our birth rate and we are having to import people from Somalia or Pakistan or any country on the globe because we ain't banging. We ain't making kids. We're not hitting replacement rate numbers. Hard to keep a culture going if you're not reproducing. But anyway, this lady just seems surprised that MAGA is cool. Like, yeah, MAGA is cool.
Well, you look at that, huh? I guess it's not all of them.
Nice backhanded compliment. Well, it's definitely some of them, but I guess it's not all of them. No, it's not. Just like because 13% of the let me get that stat because I've said it once or twice. 13% of blacks are Americans. How many by percentage are murderers? And I hope Grok doesn't give me some convoluted answer. Just answer the question. You know what I'm asking. But I feel like Grok's going to give me some sort of weird woke answer that won't answer the question. I might need to ask several different times. Maybe I just will leave it at a. But for curiosity's sake, all right, blacks make up 13% of the population. Just give me the number. Yeah, 51 to 56% of homicides. Out of all America, blacks make up 13% of Americans, committing 55% of the murders. Pattern recognition would show that any sane person who understands statistics would be a little leery, a little weary, a little cautious of the fact that there's something wrong with that demographic of 13% of the, and by the way, what is that? 98% of those being men 95% being men. So yeah, the black male population in America has a reputation that wasn't given to you because of systemic this or that, or America's a racist place, and that's only happening because it's so hard for us to make it here. What? No. Bad parenting, bad morals, bad teaching, bad people doing bad things. There's no reason this couldn't be turned around instantaneously with better parenting, better morals, better values, better coaching, better schools. Unless there is something inherently wrong with the black race, which is what some people would say. Not me. Some people would say that, but she's very surprised that MAGA has some nice members. Good for you.
All right, then. See, I don't even know how to act, because I was expecting a hostile situation.
That was her first encounter with a dude wearing a red hat, is what she said. She's absolutely blown away by the fact that they were cool.
Okay.
So as the whites have been beaten over the head for decade by decade by decade by decade, many decades, about how we are not supposed to take into account that 13% of our population is committing 56% of the murders. No, we have to ignore statistics, data, pattern recognition. We shouldn't treat anyone differently from anyone else. But if it's nighttime and I'm on a street and any person starts to follow me, I'm going into emergency protocol. Well-lit area, get the weapon, get prepared, start making noise. There's a million things I could do. I'm not going to sit and wait and go, no. I've been taught that I can't observe pattern recognition. By the way, I said a person. I didn't care if it was a black person or a white person or a man or what. Any weirdo starts following me and it's late at night and I'm walking down the street and it's sketchy. Yeah, my spidey senses are alerted. But the white Americans have just been so browbeaten to bend over backwards and give us, specifically black Americans, the benefit of the doubt, that we've sort of been taught to stop thinking about our survival instincts. I mean, hell, Scott Adams was absolutely canceled because there was a Rasmussen poll that said a majority of respondents replied to the question, "It's okay to be white," disagree. It is not okay to exist while white. And Scott said, I give up. I've been trying to help the black population specifically, been trying to offer coaching and tips and advice and strategies and volunteering and donations. I've tried so hard. He goes, but if half the people responding to this, and I believe it was a black poll in Rasmussen, if half the people are saying that it's not okay for me to exist, it's not okay for me to be white, get the hell away. Get the fuck away, he said. Move. Get out of areas that have that demographic there. They hate you. There's nothing I can do to fix it. I don't hate them, but they hate me, and I'm not going to sit around and become one of the 56%, the statistic. We've just been coached to feel so guilty about things we didn't do and give the benefit of the doubt to people like Irina Zarutska's murderer for no good reason. There's no good reason we need to bend over backward and give them the benefit of the doubt. Gad Sad calls it suicidal empathy. So yeah, there's shades of gray to this whole thing, aren't there?
I'm going to go out on a limb here, but let me invite you to a MAGA rally.
And there's that phrase, if you're a cool white dude, you can get invited to the cookout. And by the way, I lived in Los Angeles. My neighborhood was the black neighborhood. It was probably considered on the wrong side of the tracks. Literally, the light rail line came in and it was like up against the backside of our development. More than half the units, Section 8, the black neighborhood. But yeah, one of the phrases is, man, you're cool. You'll get invited to the cookout. I'll invite you to the cookout. And it's like, that's where you know, hey, all right. I've been accepted by the blacks. I've been accepted by the neighborhood. I've been accepted by the black culture. That's cool. Because as they got to know me, what am I doing? I'm walking around and I'm fixing things. I'm cleaning things. I'm helping people. You got a plumbing problem? All right, let me help. You got a big wasp nest up there. All right, let me help. Your building looks like shit. Let me paint it. And this wasn't me. It was working with contractors and helping coordinate it. All I did was go give all these buildings, these rundown buildings, a facelift, making them cleaner, safer, nicer, more effective. All the laundry rooms, they were like dungeons. Fixed them all up, painted them all up, put cubbies with changing tables on them so you can just keep your heavy detergent. There were a lot of elderly people and they didn't want to have to keep carrying this 11-pound jug of Tide down there. And they each had keys and they could keep their stuff there. At some point, people start, even the ones that were looking at me like, what's this crazy ass cracker doing around here? He's got a clipboard. What's he up to? He's the man. He's a cop. He's a narc. I don't like this guy. Then after a few years, you start seeing, well, that dude's just kind of keeping to himself and making things cooler. Every building got a drip irrigation garden. You got an urban garden in your backyard now. You can grow some food. That's all I'm doing. I'm fixing roofs, repairing driveways, trap neuter returning cats. Like, I'm just helping. Everywhere I go, I'm just trying to make it better, cleaner, safer, nicer. I lived in the hood for a decade and a half, and I felt racism against me. I felt side-eye discrimination. I felt suspicion. Some misdirected hostility, all sorts of stuff. It didn't stop me. My intentions were good. My intentions were cool. There's a phrase in the hood, don't want none, don't start none. And it's like, yeah. But if someone does start some, well, you got to have higher standards. You want to reduce those numbers of disproportionate violent crime in the neighborhood? Well, you need to take accountability for the people in your neighborhood, and you need to make sure that things don't spiral out of control now, don't you? You can't just turn a blind eye and go, oh. Anyway, he says he's going to go out on a limb and invite her to a MAGA rally. I want to invite her to the cookout. Come on out to the white people cookout. I promise our potato salad will have seasoning. They think all of our potato salad will have marshmallows and raisins in it or something, or white people smell like wet dog, and there's 100 racial things you could say. But he wants to invite her to a MAGA rally. I want to invite her to the cookout. We'll have burgers and they'll be seasoned. The side dishes will be delicious. I promise.
I don't know who this lady is, but come to a MAGA rally. You will never find a more accepting, patriotic, loving environment than at a MAGA rally. It's just one of the most beautiful things. If you haven't experienced it in your own life, but if you have, shout it out in the comment section. I bet you've gone to a MAGA rally. They're a blast. There's Americans from literally every background and walk of life there. And this is the point. They want this. They want you. Presumably you think that because we're white, maybe, and you're black, that seems to be the paradigm that you're talking about here. You're a Democrat and we're a red hat, that we hate you, that you're supposed to hate us, right? But that's actually a construct of the system. They want us to hate each other even though we're the same. We're middle class, we come from nothing, we're bootstrap Americans, we're just here to try and scratch out a living and make this whole thing work for all of us. We pay too much in taxes, gas prices too high, grocery prices too high. We all go to the grind every single day and try and work. That's the vast majority of Americans. Our ruling class wants us to think that it's left versus right, that it's you versus me, but it's actually us versus them. It's actually the 99% of us that are just here to try and get by and provide for our families versus the 1 or 2% of the oligarch class, the establishment, the deep state, whatever you want to call it, that have wrecked this nation. So I'll call it the ruling class and power to the people. I think that's what everybody understands, and that's what scares them the very most. That's why you have to destroy the institutions and destroy the people that have been in control of those institutions for so long to get some good movement started, because they want us to hate each other. My favorite video of the day right there. It's awesome.
Yeah, so good on her. And good on the dude for being a good dude. I don't know. I just, once again, there's probably two topics I just don't care too much to get into for the most part. Jew, 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 black, 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 black. But both of the stories, when that becomes the center of the orbit of the story, racism, 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 anti-Semitism, anti-Semitism, anti-Semitism. I retreat into the bushes and go, I have so much fatigue over all of it. Y'all talk it out. Talk amongst yourselves. Have a great day with that. I really don't like talking about racist accusations, racist hoaxes, racist stories, it's so played out. It's so tiring. Figure out your life, live a good life. Don't be abusive to people. Don't take abuse. Meet in the middle and reject the Barack Obamas, the people that constantly push fake race hoaxes on people. Good for this.
So I'm at the gas station.
Doesn't do anything.
Well, speaking about immigration and culture matters way more than race. Culture matters, which is why if you're going to be having immigration, you need to have a vast program in place so that you can make sure the right cultural fit is occurring from anybody that wants to become a member. Culture. And this is, who's this? Dominic? I don't know who this is, but I think I know Vander Sloot or something. I think I know this lady. I forget her name. Vander something. They're not telling me, but it was an interesting conversation about immigration in Europe.
Do anything to you?
I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. You know what I give a shit about? This civilization of ours.
Exactly. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And one question for you, Dominic, about Poland. Poland is way different.
That's right.
Than any other Western European city.
Poland is way different than any other Western. Did he say civilization or city? He said. There we go. Is this guy the leader of Poland?
How do you manage that?
Zero illegal migrants. Like zero means zero. We do not let anyone in. It's just a fact. So what you can do as a Europeans, you have to push your politicians and say, be like Poland. Zero means zero.
What do you think of the fact that many other European countries call you a racist or a fascist?
I don't give a single fuck. I don't give a shit. They can call me a pink elephant. That's what I said on Conti Newman in 2018. That was 2019 when I gave this interview, when I said zero. And everyone was like, how can you say that? Yes, I can say that. I don't give a shit. What you have to take care of is your own family, your own country, your own safety. That's what it is.
Protected, guys. Doesn't do anything.
And I looked it up. I think this guy is Dominic Tarczyński, Polish politician and member of the European Parliament, MEP, since 2020. Good for him. You know, and if you want your communities to stop getting harassed by the police, police your own block. The problems we were encountering in that neighborhood, it was like 3 people, 4 people, 5 people. 95% of the problems were being caused by 1% of the people. So when it's don't want none, don't start none, that doesn't mean bury your head in the sand and let the jackals run wild. It means help remove the cancer so the body can survive. And that's a problem in the Black community, absolutely. But it can be a problem in any community. I'm just trying back to that 13% of America's population is committing 56% of the murders. And you go, no. Something is wrong. And there can be many some things that are wrong. But yeah, he's saying you got to protect your country. You got to protect your city. You got to protect your neighborhood. You got to protect your building. You got to protect your family. Yes, I agree with Pink Shirt Guy too. Hello, Cletus. Welcome back. Welcome back. Kenneth, you've had some good jokes too. I'm just trying to see them as I find them and stay on track because I'm sort of devolving into a diatribe that I know the more I talk, the more something gets spliced out of context. Because in context, I think I'm being very fair on all this stuff. Cletus jumps in and he goes, Jew, black. I didn't know we were discussing Drake. Is Drake Jewish? I don't know. I don't listen to Drake. Is he Jewish? Jewish he was. What an odd time to jump into this show. Yes, okay. He's Jewish through his mother. There you go. In Toronto. He's Canadian too. He's a Canuck. What an odd time to jump into the TNAM Daily Show. Jew, black. I always see those odd Alex Jones clips clipped out of context. It's like well, anyway, there's 1,000 of them you could go find. What a weird time to jump into the show. But that's what I'm here for. Happy to have you. Leanne agrees. Brian is a woman. I'm with you about the American birth rate going down and why. Yes, thank you. Not just for your comment, but thank you for saying, Brian, as a woman, I agree. If you just left that, I wouldn't know what the hell you're talking about. I constantly coach the regulars here at the bar in chat. Please say complete sentences. So if I scroll back 5 minutes later, I can remember exactly what you're talking about. You did that about the American birth rate going down and why. Yeah. When you make it impossible for a man to engage in holy matrimony for fear that he's going to get taken to the cleaners for the crime of not being loved by a woman who's breaking a lifetime contract with him, go ahead, get your divorce, walk away. You signed up for life and you're breaching your contract, lady. You don't like it? Go away. But you don't get 15 years of your bills paid by the guy that you're dumping to run off with some floozy of a dudesy, or whatever. I'm having a midlife crisis. I want to go and sow my wild oats. I'm having a renaissance in my 50s. Are you now? Or are you now? It happens in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, 50s, 60s. That doesn't matter when. But if a woman wants to leave a man, leave him. But leave all of those payment requests behind. People say, be a man. Well, how about be a woman and show some fucking self-respect in yourself? And if you choose to break a man's heart and say, I am going to violate the lifetime contract I swore in a house of God I was going to honor, if you're going to break all that and go away, then stop reaching in his pocket every month. Ask around. Oh, you're going to use the kids that you had together as leverage to squeeze money out of him and then wonder why there's no chivalry and men aren't getting married and we're not having children and we're not trusting the process where men have been targeted. Exactly, Leanne. Exactly. You know what I mean? So, yeah. All right. Pink shirt guy, Dominic, making a lot of sense. I'll follow this if I roll banana clips.
Does it do anything to...
Her name's like Elena Van Berger or something. All right, how about this one? Here's an easy one. Students for Liberty reminds us, socialism takes and redistributes wealth, but it is utterly incapable of creating wealth. Leonard Reed. Yes, it seizes and steals wealth. Can't create anything. Steals. Replace take with steal.
Politics. What you?
This shrew. I guess it's turning the male-female hour, isn't it? God, this show is just taking an odd turn in the first hour, hasn't it? A bit of an odd turn. This show is about Jew, black, black, female. Well, there's tension. There's tension, folks. Always has been, always will be. And it's our job to kind of soak it up and make sense of it. That's what we do here. It's a we're a philosophical show. I think that's what I was aiming for. This lady is pretty shrill. I don't like her at all. And it's reminding me of the Jordan Peterson video. Remember the Jordan Peterson one? Kathy something. Let me see if I can find that. But here, check out. Elon sat down for an interview. There's a lot of good sound bites to this. Let's play this one. She's just trying to bash Elon, and Elon's sitting there, and he's playing tennis with her. Good for him.
You don't even live there.
I think of it as the sort of the West collectively.
But do you see why this makes people think that this man who has all this power, he's the world's richest man, he thinks he has a right to influence our politics? It makes people, it's why, we started this conversation saying superlatives. It's why people loathe you. I mean, some people do loathe you.
Yes, some people do.
But do you understand why? Do you think what you're doing is helpful for Western democracy?
Maybe some people do loathe me. And that's probably true. I don't care. But the fact that, as you pointed out, 250 million people follow me is that I think a lot more people actually like me than don't.
Mm-hmm. Like, you could pick your favorite. Well, not your favorite. You could pick one of the biggest bands of any era. Take, for example, maybe when my band was playing around, Creed. #1 most played, overplayed band of the time. Maybe the most hated band at the time. People were sick of them, overplayed. And then they were also selling the most tickets, selling the most merchandise, making the most money. Yeah, you can be hated, but you can also be the most loved also. President Trump, loved and hated. Love and hate. Yeah, there's a tension to that hate. Kenneth, can't she just get Elon? Can't we all just get Elon? But yeah, more people like him than hate him. And also...
And I think a lot more people hate you and the media more than you realize.
Politics. You don't
even live there.
Live there.
And a lot of people hate you more than, and the media, than you realize. That clip was giving off vibes of this. This is Kathy Newman with Dr. Jordan Peterson. Remember this famous clip? Giving off the same shrill, shrewd, a nasty woman. I say Kathy Griffith, who's a nasty woman, but this is Kathy Newman with Jordan Peterson. Why should... Wait, where's the volume? I didn't unclick it. I guess let me refresh it.
Why should your right to freedom of speech trump a trans person's right not to be offended?
Because in order to be able to think, you have to risk being offensive. I mean, look at the
Right, they're playing music in the background. I got to make sure I don't get a copyright strike, so I got to pause it. But yeah, in order to think, you have to risk being offensive. Look at this conversation right now, he says.
Conversation we're having right now. Like you're certainly willing to risk offending me in the pursuit of truth.
Uh-huh. Yeah, you're not going to get to play your Jedi tactics to shut me down, make me feel guilty, make me feel nervous. Like, no, I'm going to speak boldly, speak passionately, speak with truth. That's it. You don't think in the top of the hour on this show. By the way, at the top of the hour, please consider, if you like the New American Media, signing up to become a monthly subscriber on Patreon or Rumble or YouTube. Or you can drop a one-time Rumble rant or Super Chat tip into my tip jar back there on YouTube and Rumble. Or you can drop a Venmo or Cash App at Brian Engelman. Or send something on PayPal at fuzzinstallment@yahoo.com. That's all scrolling at the bottom of the screen. You don't think I'm risking being offensive by trying to hash out these complex, convoluted, diagonal, perpetual stories about Jew, 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 black, 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 male, female, male, female, male, female. Yeah, in order to think, you have to peel back the scab and see, is this infected or are we healing down here? Man, the amount of wounds that I had as a child between bike riding and sports and roughhousing. Man, oh man. Yeah, you have to risk being offensive if you're going to think. 100%. So Jordan Peterson turns it on her and asks, why should you?
Why should you have the right to do that? It's been rather uncomfortable.
Uh-huh. Why do you think it's your right to go ahead and offend a trans person? You can't make someone uncomfortable. He's like, I'm sitting here in your crappy interview being uncomfortable in the presence of you.
Ha, gotcha.
You have got me. You have got me. I'm trying to work that through in my head. Yeah. It took a while.
It did.
Yeah, we have the right to be offensive because offensive speech is a cornerstone of America. You don't like what's being said? Guess what? You don't get to murder somebody who says a magic mean word to you. Is that a problem in the Black community with a certain word that almost every popular hip hop song of the past 40 years has featured prominently? The Shiloh Hendrix story. I keep wanting to say Shiloh. Was Shiloh Marx a person? I don't know. I'm thinking Richard Marx or Shiloh Sanders. I don't know a Shiloh Marx, but I keep wanting to say that. There is sort of that, like Dave Chappelle has that skit when Keeping It Real goes wrong. And there's sort of like this bravado in Black culture, like, oh man, if you ever said that word in front of me, I'd kick your ass. It's like, words don't entitle you to use violence. I don't know if that is a strictly Black thing. But the Shiloh Hendrix case is about a white and Black dynamic and a certain magical word that they get to say to each other all the time. And you're never supposed to say, and if you do, I'll K you. Oh, really? So words turn into violence? No, they don't. No, they don't. The proper response to somebody saying mean shit is to either ignore it or walk away from it or say equally mean shit back or say even worse shit back. But violence, you don't jump to violence. And that special magical word really does only apply to the Black community. It's a special magical word. And I'm not talking nuclear. It's the other one. And this lady's trying to get Dr. Jordan Peterson. Aha! You're not allowed to. What makes you think you have the right to say something offensive to a trans person? Humans have the right to speak. And if you don't like it, you don't get to Charlie Kirk him. If you don't like someone using a word, you don't get to stomp his skull into the concrete until he's in a coma and loses his life. No. No. It's threats of violence that can be met with threats of violence. Saying a mean name that's insulting, maybe it's not a good look. Maybe that's why in the history of me doing this show, I don't think I've ever said that. It's a word, it's not nuclear, but it is the other word. Do violinists tend to be violent? Only when they have a vendetta while wearing velvet. Yeah, this was giving off the vibes of that mean lady with the Tesla thing. She's so nasty.
There.
Okay, I had it unmuted. Just play the clip if I hit refresh.
You don't even live there.
You don't even live there. Isn't it? Isn't it? You ain't even live there. Why do you care about Western values? You don't even live there. What makes you have the right to say something offensive to a trans person? Isn't it? Yeah. It's like fingernails on a chalkboard with this type of angry white female leftist. They're the worst. They're the worst, I tells you. It's not all of them, but it's always them. You ever heard that phrase? It's not all of them, but it's always them. That could apply to the angry white female leftist. And you see that in the black fatigue posts all the time. 3 or 4 or 5 black dudes ganging up on some elderly white guy or white lady and stomping them outside of 7-Eleven. We played you that clip a week ago, 2 weeks ago. Always in the comments, it goes, it's not all of them, but it's always them. Which is not correct. But it's kind of citing 13%, 56%. What the hell's going? More than half of the murders are from black people, and they only make up 13% of the American population. It's not always them, but it's always them, is the comment you will see when you scroll past yet another racial attack. And guess what? 99% of the time, it's black on white, not the other way around. But we've been browbeaten. We've been indoctrinated to hate ourselves for things we didn't do to people. We've been taught, hey, it's the content of your character, not the color of your skin. But then it's used against us. It's the weirdest. There is so much unnecessary brain power being devoted to stupid shit. Patrol your own, police your own, raise your standards. All of humanity. All of humans. That's not directed at any one particular group. It's about all of us. I can't believe that guy with the red hat was nice. I am sorry you've been trained and poisoned that way, miss. I think a lot of MAGA people are awesome. Maybe most. Not all of them, but some of them. Anyway, this Elon thing is great. I know I have a few clips on our X feed. Not sure if I'm going to get to them today, but we'll see. All right, you've all asked for it. Let's do a deep dive on Section 219. Okay. How bad is Section 219? Is it being overblown, or is it treason? Let's ask Grok. What would Grok say to that? How bad is Section 219? Is it being overblown, or is it treason? Ooh, this is the test. What is Grok going to say? Grok doesn't like these questions where I sort of lean into it and steer them towards something. Then they try to backtrack like a Scooby-Doo cartoon. Like it kicks up that pile of dust and then... All right, so according to Grok, what we're talking about, Section 219 of fiscal year 2027 National Defense Authorization, or NDAA, establishes a United States-Israel Defense Technology Cooperation Initiative. All right. It's a Defense Technology Cooperation Initiative. I guess I could put that up on the screen. If only I could invest in stupidity, I'd be rich. That's rich. Grok says this is neither treason nor a nothing burger. It's notable expansion of defense technology cooperation that's drawn bipartisan criticism for scope and potential long-term effects. If guys can't trust a lady to stay faithful in a marriage till death do us part, because, oh yeah, that's the other question. Let me ask, what percentage of divorces are initiated by money grubbing ladies? Grok doesn't like when I did that. I wasn't going to put money grubbing, but for fun. I think 70 or 80% of divorces are initiated. 70% of divorces initiated by women. But there's no credible statistic for the share that's initiated by money-grubbing ladies. That framing is a stereotype, not a measured category in the data. Grok answered perfect, like to illuminate exactly what I'm talking about. They get so hung up on verbiage and semantics, and it's like, you get the point of what I'm asking. 70% of all divorces are initiated by ladies. 56% of American murders are initiated by African Americans. There's trends you follow. There's trends that you follow. God, we are working together. This episode is just the most toxic thing. I try to steer clear of all this shit because it's sort of a no-win situation. The more you talk, the more you're gonna perhaps say something inelegantly and get canceled. And you also have to raise your hands up and go, I don't give a shirt. I said shirt. I don't give a shirt. I know my intentions are good. My intentions are pure. I'm trying to be a good dude, and I'm a pretty good dude. It's not always them. It's not all of them, but it's always them. No, that's not true. It's only 70% true. On a teeter-totter, that's pretty close to having that thing locked up. Yeah, 7 out of 10 divorces are from the ladies. Look, and the reason I'm getting back to that is to tie it to this story. Section 219. Why are we merging our military with Israel? Ooh, that's another good question. How many American marriages end in divorce by percentage of those married? What is the number? Tell me in chat. What percentage of American marriages end in divorce? I have a number in my head. Without looking at type your number, please. What's your number? Percentage of American marriages that end in divorce. Do you have your number? Type it in chat. I wanted to say 45. I'll say 47%. I thought it was 50%. Might actually be like 35, but I'm going to say 47. What did I want to say? 45? Between 40 and 45% of first marriages are estimated to end in divorce. The often repeated 50% of marriages end in divorce figure is outdated. It was largely a projection based on peak rates from the 70s and 80s that never fully materialized for later cohorts. First marriages, 40 to 45% divorce. If you can't even trust your spouse to be a lifetime partner, why would you trust Israel to be a lifetime partner? Side note, not anti-Semitic to say something because I don't want to merge with Sudan or Syria or, I'm trying to think, any others that start with S, or South America or Canada or Mexico. Disclaimer. Okay, Rob guessed 75%. Arnold guessed 65%. Kenneth guessed 65%. Okay, Kenneth, Arnold, Rob, have you been personally divorced? Did that perhaps play a role in your guessing 35 to 15% higher? Out of curiosity. I'm in the club. I'm in the club. I tried to get married once. Twice. But I'm connecting it back to Section 219 here for a reason. We cannot trust a marriage to survive lifetime. If something is important, perhaps the only thing that we want a government for, which is just for a robust defense. If that's something that's near and dear to us, and half of these scenarios end poorly, never marry something that you can't get out of. Never. So 219 is scary on that front. Rightfully so. So let's do the deep dive, at least according to Grok, on what it actually does. And here's your reminder. Please leave your comments. Also, hit thumbs up. Click the arrow button to share this show. It'll copy the link. Text a couple friends. Send it out on X and just go, hey, we're watching the TNAM Daily Show. Tag us at American_media_. Put it out on Facebook and say, hey, guys, we're trying to grow the show. Invite them in for lunch break, you know? Rob says he's never been married. Okay. Kenneth, never married. I know better. Rob says every one of my friends from back in high school has already been divorced. Some more than once, some more than 3 times. Oh, my God. And you wonder why Americans aren't banging and creating kids, because you can't trust the lady to not rob you later and use her kids, his kids as leverage. I saw an abortion clip, some guy, engaging in conversation. I want men to stop talking about abortion. And by the way, that was Scott Adams, what I consider to be a cowardly take. He said, my take is I'm not a lady. I don't birth a child. I'm not going to have an opinion on abortion. Ladies, you figure it out amongst yourselves. And by the way, you're split 50-50 or 60-40 to be anti-abortion. You got a lot of pro-abortionists that are ladies, but you got a lot that are anti-abortionists that are ladies. I didn't call Scott Adams a coward in many things, but I thought that, well, if you can't have a baby, you can't have an opinion. It's like, I also can't play in the NBA, but I can have an opinion. What are we talking about? It was a pretty big cop-out, but also I sort of get it. I hate the Jews. I love the Jews. I think the Jews are a problem with all things in the world. I think the Jews are God's chosen people, and they should get all the money from everybody always and have control over everybody because of those promises. I hate the Jews. The Jews are behind. I just back away. Just back the fuck away. I don't want to be in this. I don't want to pick a side. Don't force me to root for the Red Sox or the Yankees. Don't get me involved. Don't get me involved in this. I don't want to do it. It is a zero-sum game. It is a losing scenario. Get me out, get me out, get me out. I don't want to be a part of that conversation. I hate the constant racism conversation. I hate the constant Jew conversation. Don't want to be a part of it. Just get me away. What an odd show today. Arnold, that's a good quote. Getting married is easy. Staying married is hard work. Yeah. What is people are going IBTI? Oh, going into marriage. I think you're typing for different reasons than say 50 years ago, I believe. Oh, and how many people that are staying together are just staying together? They're kind of stuck. They've been scrambled together. They both own a house. How do you get out of that? That's a nightmare. How do you? And then they're going to hold it over your head. And this is my house. You get out. And it just goes on and on and on and on. It's scary. It's scary. I was scared by it and I went for it. And, it didn't work. But I did try. I did try once. Not sure if I'll try again. I don't know. Arnold says there's the mushroom effect, which adds the increase in percentage. 2 people from a failed marriage end up in another relationship with fewer failures. Oh. So you're saying if 2 people from a failed marriage end up in another relationship, there'll be fewer failures there. Like they got to, like if you take a test a second time, you have a chance to review your answer. You go, oh, I got that wrong. Or you go, oh, I had no idea what that is. You go, yeah, you got the other stuff, but focus on these. And then you ace the test the second time. That's fair. But Rob believes, too, that there are a lot more lost people today than 50 years ago. Yeah. Well, back to why you might not want to get married. Or, why you got to be you should be having a prenup. And I did. I was like, look, and my prenup was super simple. I say that, maybe it wasn't, but I think it was. It was basically, I am entering into this partnership. This is a business partnership with the following assets and the following liabilities. I have student loan debt. I'm making payments on my car for the next 4 years. So I got liabilities of 15, 20 grand or something. And I have assets of music equipment and a savings account and a Roth IRA and a couple of things and this and that. You are bringing your debt and your assets to the table. If we leave, those things go back to us. If you were 20K in the hole with 30K of stuff, you take 10 with you. If you were 80 underneath and you had 5 grand, you're negative 75. Okay, like just there's an imbalance. We're joining together. Today is the first day of our company. Anything that we create together, we share together. And if we have to split down the road, we split what we earn together. There will be no future spousal payments. I won't owe you and you won't owe me. And in some people's case, they're like, oh, well, that's real sharp of the guy to put that out on paper. Then he won't have to be abused by a feminist legal system. Well, yeah, you're damn right. But also, my wife made a lot of money. And I was not entitled to say, hey, I've grown accustomed to you paying a lot of these bills. No. I said, I never want you to stay with me for money, and I never want you to leave me for money. I never want you staying with me for money, and I never want you leaving me for money. And that'll eliminate that. And it worked. It was very clear cut. There wasn't discussion or debate or arguments. It was just marriages are complicated. So why in hell would we merge our military with Israel's military in a marriage? All right. According to Grok, it says Section 219 directs the Secretary of Defense to designate a Pentagon executive agent whose job is to expand and accelerate bilateral cooperation with Israel. Okay, so let's break this down. Please tell me in chat. Is Grok misleading me on any of this? Is there anything Grok is falsely interpreting? Let's set the record straight. Oh yeah, marriage should be a renewable contract. I mean, right? I mean, but it's also a lifetime deal. There's very few things that are lifetime contracts. I got a full-on Mitch McConnell chat over in Rumble. That's something. Everybody, are you following in Rumble? By the way, if you have a second device, please feel free to log in on both Rumble and YouTube. Arnold mentioning that the removal of the Lord's Prayer and the Ten Commandments from elementary school has removed the morals of God from society's core. Right and wrong are now disconnected from your consciousness. That happened, and you're right. Okay, so the Secretary of Defense, if this passes, would designate a Pentagon executive agent to expand and accelerate the bilateral cooperation with Israel. It's not giving them power over things. It's to cooperate and streamline the process of trying to help. By the way, a lot of the stuff going on in Iran is Israel doing stuff. Israel is there. They're stationed there. They're based there. They're doing stuff. They're sort of acting as the agent of the United States, as our 51st state. Now, if Epstein caught Trump in a honeypot and he's been pulling him by the short ones, making him dance like a marionette puppet, and Israel owns the United States and has since they started the CIA in 1947 and has since World War II and has since 1913 with the central banks taking over our currency, okay, we can talk about those issues. But if the goal here with 219 is to have an executive agent accelerating cooperation with Israel, people, chill the F out. This isn't as blinking red light, flashing urgent, oh my God, we've sold our soul and our sovereignty. We're doomed. We're owned by Israel. Because there's a designated agent to help facilitate partnership. That's not quite as cataclysmic as it's being sold to you by Marjorie Taylor Greene and Thomas Massie. By the way, 2 roadblocks to the MAGA agenda over and over again, to the point where it got them ran out of Congress. For better or worse, they defected from the MAGA party, basically calling it the MEGA party. All right, so Secretary of Defense, key elements would include identifying Israeli origin or jointly developed technologies. Israeli origin or jointly developed technologies for potential integration into U.S. military systems and programs of record. Okay. So would this be a Trojan horse, like a foreign country giving us Air Force One? And then maybe they have a slick code or something undetectable that they could take the plane out of the sky and assassinate a U.S. president, like a Trojan horse? Do you want Israeli technology integrating itself into the Pentagon where they can spy on us? That's what they've said about chips and drones from China. They got secret backdoors where they can tap in and listen, and they can program, and they can steal your stuff. Okay, that's a security concern right there. Coordinating research and development, testing, evaluation, and industrial cooperation. Couldn't we do this without a bill? Covering domains such as counter-drone. Oh, by the way, talk about Israeli developed and jointly developed technologies. How many times did President Trump talk about the Golden Dome? It's called the Iron Dome in Israel. Trump has come out and said we need a Golden Dome across the Americas. Don't we want something that could identify and take out missiles launched from the Atlantic or the Pacific? Wasn't a lot of this technology, if not developed by Israel, definitely beta tested by Israel over and over and over? Covering domains such as counter-drone systems, missile air defense, AI. I mean, AI is everything. Quantum, autonomous systems, cyber electronic warfare, directed energy, biotechnology, and defense industrial base co-production and manufacturing. Why can't we just do these things on spoken word, strong as oak? What do we need to codify any of this for? Facilitating joint ventures, licensing, U.S.-based co-production, technology transition into procurement, joint training, and information sharing. Wouldn't we be doing joint training and information sharing if we're temporarily on the same page? Why do we need to put this in writing? In requiring reporting to Congress. It builds on existing U.S.-Israel defense ties, missile defense cooperation, but formalizes and deepens them inside the Pentagon structure in a more permanent, institutionalized way. The House passed the broader NDAA with this section intact. A similar provision exists in the Senate version, and it's not yet law. So, is the criticism overblown? Some of the rhetoric is overstated. It does not place U.S. troops under Israeli command. It doesn't merge the two militaries' command structures. It doesn't automatically transfer unlimited funds or give Israel veto power over U.S. decisions. Tell me if I'm wrong. And by the way, it's not me. Tell me if Grok is wrong about that. Supporters, including the provision's bipartisan sponsors and groups like, oh, there you go, AIPAC. Would it be safe to say nobody in this group appreciates AIPAC? I would say I'm not a big fan of any large lobbying organization. Any. Maybe NRA and National Association for Gun Rights. Which, by the way, if you put the letters together and use if you try to say that out loud, it sort of sounds like what Shiloh Hendrix said on that park in Minneapolis. Just a little sidebar. I've noticed that. So the supporters say it makes cooperation more efficient, gives U.S. faster access to proven Israeli innovations, especially in drones, missile defense, and related areas. Yeah, I don't think you need I don't think we need you. I think you need us. I don't know too much about that. We'd be so lucky to get all that Israeli stuff. I think you're lucky to be in such a partnership with the United States. Can we call this for what it is? We're not lucky to have you. You're lucky to have us. And I don't like the implication otherwise, AIPAC. No, thank you. At least if that's accurate, how Grok is describing this here. So it would strengthen America's capabilities against shared threats. Nobody in your region likes you, Israel. Shared threats. Wouldn't this help Israel's capabilities against shared threats? I mean, this is the pro side to it, why people are arguing it's a good thing, I guess. Supports U.S. jobs through co-production without authorizing brand new funding streams. Critics, including Thomas Massey, Ro Khanna, some progressives, and some America First conservatives, raised legitimate points. This would embed Israeli technology more deeply into the United States systems and supply chains in ways that could be hard to reverse later. Okay, that's enough for me. I don't want to do it. I want the ability to reverse from anybody. That's why you sign a prenuptial agreement. At any point down the road, I am allowed to back away for any reason, but under these terms, this is how it's going to go. Criticism. An executive agent focused solely on this partnership could prioritize it over other DOD equities and reduce day-to-day flexibility and oversight compared with annual appropriations or traditional alliance arrangements. Broader entanglement risks. Counterintelligence, divergent national interests, reputational issues tied to Israeli operations exist, especially in sensitive areas like AI and cyber. You're damn right. The depth goes beyond typical alliance tech sharing with most partners, even close ones. In short, it's a real policy choice that shifts the relationship toward tighter technological and industrial integration. Calling it a full military merger exaggerates the text, but dismissing sovereignty or lock-in concerns as pure conspiracy is also inaccurate. Is it treason? No, says Grok. Treason is narrowly defined in the U.S. Constitution, Article 3, Section 3. Levying war against the United States or adhering to its enemies, giving them aid and comfort. Israel is a long-standing U.S. ally, not an enemy. Although many would argue, this is me talking now, although many would argue that Israel's been engaged in purchasing, bribing, or blackmailing politicians since 1947, since 1913, to gain dominance over this country and rule us as their slaves. That's what some of you would say. Passing legislation to deepen defense technology cooperation with an ally, however unwise, some may find the specifics, does not meet the legal definition of treason. Rhetoric labeling supporters traitors or calling Nuremberg-style trials is hyperbolic political speech, not a serious legal claim. Bottom line, says Grok, Section 219 is a consequential provision that accelerates and industrializes U.S.-Israel defense tech integration. Reasonable people can debate whether the benefits to the United States capabilities outweigh the reduced flexibility and deeper entanglement. It is significant enough to warrant scrutiny, but the most extreme characterizations, treason or total loss of sovereignty, go beyond what the text does. The final version, if any, will depend on House and Senate negotiations and the president's signature. Do you feel as though I provided a fair overview of Section 219 just now? Not pro-Jew, not anti-Jew. Just a good how do you do? Just trying to give you a fine how do you do. Folks in chat, I need a snap comment, please. Do you feel as though Grok did a decent job of articulating some pros and cons and some accurate transcription, accurate translations of what this is saying? in my one of my libertarian group texts. I'll read you exactly what asshole number 1 said. Well, one comment was, surprised to hear you covered NDAA and actually opposed the unholy military merger with the Israelis. Because this person views everything wrong on earth because the Jews. And then he pretends that he doesn't. Which, if you're going to own it, if you're going to say it, just fucking say it, man. Just say it. Just let it rip. There's no shame in being anti-Semitic if you are. What's that Norm Macdonald joke? I think Patton Oswalt said about Bill Cosby. You know, the biggest crime of all was that he was a hypocrite. You know, I disagree. You know, I thought his biggest crime was all the raping. If you are anti-Semitic, hate the Jews, and don't think they should have a country, can you just turn your cards over and say that? Because you're just talking out of both sides of your mouth when you're not. Everything you say is anti-Jew, anti-Israel, which is a fine perspective for you to hold if those are your values. It's a fine perspective because it's at least accurately describing. It's fine in the regard that it's accurately describing your position. Putting on sheep's clothing and pretending that you're not saying that. No, river to the sea, all the Palestinian terrorists calling for the complete destruction of Israel. Yeah, just own it. If you're going to hold that belief, for the love of God, own it and don't be a pussy about it. There's a lot of fake libertarian leftists, Jew-hating leftists, claiming to be libertarians and liberty lovers, and they're deeply anti-Semitic, but they're pussies about admitting their Jew hatred. Man up. Be a man. Say it. Just say what you're thinking. Put all your cards on the table. This person figured I would avoid the issue altogether. I believe it was Arnold yesterday said, are you covering 219? I'm like, I thought they took it out. They put it back. What's going on? No, I wasn't following the day-to-day, just like I don't follow the Iran war day-to-day. It's a lot. Well, here, let me read you my reply. I have a new show supporter, I believe I was referencing Arnold here, who asked in chat if I was covering it. And it wasn't in the stack of news stories that day, so I added MTG's NDAA video to the chat, and I opined on it. I don't spend all day looking for reasons to hate President Trump like you two do, is what I said to him. He's the closest thing to George Washington that we've seen in our lifetimes, and I want him to succeed in his term, especially since Obama in the deep state stole his first term. I try to stay positive where others focus on the negatives. No, I don't see any need for Section 219. I don't like scrambling our military eggs together with anyone, and I said that. I need the Save America Act to pass so the Dems can never reclaim power in America ever again. If we let them cheat again, and if they can steal the House or Senate, Obama's deep state wins, we get impeachment and gridlock, and the bad guys win, and Trump's term is done. I don't want to sacrifice American military sovereignty to Israel or anyone. And I wonder if this is the unholy compromise they will try to use to finally push the Save America Act across the goal line by kind of Velcroing them together. And if you want one, you got to get the other. And it's like, well, shit. I said, I hope not. Also, I wonder if there's hyperbole about giving Israel command of our military, just like how they had a joint training in the Middle East. Maybe it was Qatar, maybe it was Montana or Washington State or something that we were going to have Boeing or Lockheed they were going to come train their planes on our bases. Yeah, for ease of military. It wasn't for treason. It was because we were selling them an assload of weapons. And in order to have pilots that can fly these weapons, they need to be trained. Instead of going to your shithole country, how about you come over here and figure out how to fly them? That wasn't treason, but it was purported to be treason. Trump's treasonous. Trump's treasonous. Look, he's selling Qatar weapons and they're coming into our country to do it. he's owned by the Israelis or something. It always ends up Jews or reptilians or something. I just said, I wonder if there's not hyperbole about Section 219 in that we're not giving Israel command of the military. Just like joint training a Middle East nation in Montana isn't quite as big a deal as the MAGA defectors. What was I trying to say? The MAGA detractors is what I was trying to type. That they were trying to make it out to be. It wasn't that big of a deal. I said, I'll assume the worst for safety, but maybe those two things aren't quite as a big a deal as the pro-Democrats are making them out to be. I really liked Massey and MTG and some others, but by constantly fighting Trump and MAGA, they became proxy armies for the globalists, and it was sad to see. It's a nuanced version of Trump derangement syndrome where you can do the right thing for the right reason, but also cut off your nose to spite your face. I think that was brilliant writing, by the way. I'll pat myself on the back. And I said, and by the way, once again, I'm not on Israel's payroll just because I don't blame soggy cereal, a cat turd on the carpet, a lost USPS package, and too much rain, along with every other problem or slight in the world on the Jews. And I don't advocate exterminating them from the river to the sea. But no, I'm not on their payroll either. Leave me alone. These are the conversations I'm having in private. And no, I didn't dedicate today's show to 219. Might as well just change the damn subject. But I'm trying to figure it out. I thought it was erased and I didn't have to worry about it. No, we got to worry about it. Don't scramble your eggs. And if you do, what's the prenuptial agreement? Where's the prenup on 219? Oh, some new comments in that thread. I honestly didn't think you wanted to cover that story, and I just floated it out to see if you would respond, which you never did. One of the biggest cop-outs ever. Conflating critics of Israel as being obsessed with Jews and blaming them for everything is not true. Bro, don't be a pussy. Just own up to it. He's trying to have his cake and eat it too and sit on both sides of the fence. There's that classic tale of the guys on the fence and the God is over here and the devil's over here and pick a side. And, well, I kind of want to be earthly. I kind of want to like be hedonistic, but I also want to do good. And yeah, you know, I'm gonna stay right here on the fence. He passes away and he's in hell. He's like, well, wait a minute. No. I never chose hell. And the devil says, the fence belonged to me. By not choosing God or the good side, you chose hell. All excuses to avoid the very valid criticisms of Zionists in the politics of Israel. Derp. Anyway. Devil's always in the details. Oh, Arnold, you're right. I don't rely upon opinions from AI. How far have we fallen away? True. So that's what I was saying. Is any of this being misrepresented by Grok? Because once again, we don't have a bill. We got a Senate version. We got a House version. It was eliminated. Then it was brought back in. I'm finding it, if not difficult, I'm finding it challenging to keep up with where we're at. By the way, you guys make my shift so much more fun here at the Moon Saloon, here at the New American Media TNAM Daily Show. That is just hilarious. Coming through on Venmo just now. Remember that song I sang earlier? Type it in chat if you know it. I'll give you 3 seconds. Do you remember the hook to the song I was singing? I said I want to karaoke it. I wrote it on my karaoke song list. I just got a Venmo donation during the show. I just noticed it. A donation of $1. The comment says, You need a dollar bill. Because I was singing, well, I need a dollar, dollar, dollar is what I need. Hey, hey. Thank you for the tip. And thank you for the joke. That's kind of hilarious. Oh, goodness. Yes, Dina, by not choosing, you've chosen. If you're engaged to somebody and you don't get married, you're choosing to not get married. And if you're not going to get married, then maybe stop playing house. But yeah, devil in the details, and there's several different versions. And I will cover it. I don't love covering racist stories and Jew stories nonstop. It's pretty toxic. It's a contaminated swimming pool. I just don't like being in there. Yeah, Leanne, I love my country, and many have died for us to have our freedom. I want to keep our freedom. I want to keep our sovereignty. And I get it if a dude doesn't want to get married when so many things are stacked against him. I get why a lady wouldn't want to get married. There's plenty of deadbeat dads or abusive people or junkies, guys and girls. There's plenty. I get it. Anyway, that's 219. And I say all that to share you this tab to get you some hindsight, foresight, 5-sight, 6-sight. I haven't checked these quotes to see if they're true. But let's take the sentiment of the quote and tell me later if any of these quotes are misattributed. The Cole Actual says, Section 219 passed the House in favor of integrating U.S. and Israeli military. By the way, it's a very narrow scope of what they're saying. Well, it's not narrow. It's like all encompassing. It's also narrow. Doggone it. It's Schrodinger's merger. This account says, my brothers, it's time to lace up. George Washington, in his farewell address in 1796, allegedly, according to this post, says, steer clear of permanent alliances with any portion of the foreign world. Agree. Is that his exact quote? I don't know. I haven't had time to type it all in. You do that. We're talking about the sentiments of these comments. Thomas Jefferson in 1801 allegedly said, peace, commerce, and honest friendship with all nations, entangling alliances with none. And by the way, was it Marco Rubio or J.D. Vance or President Trump or a version of all of them that said, well, Israel fired on Iran and we had to defend Israel, so that's how we started this thing? Because they started it. That's like going out to the club and your dude's an asshole. Your buddy you're with is an asshole and he's getting in fist fights. Like, stop going with that guy. He's trouble. You're calling Israel trouble. You're an anti-Semite. Shut up. Shut up. That was said at the beginning of this Iran situation. Israel started it, and we had to jump in because our military assets were there. And we couldn't let them be targets. We were suckered into a fight. We got tricked into a fight. Or we got bribed or blackmailed into a fight. Or bought off into a fight. Because the Jews are behind everything wrong on earth, say some people. Am I going to change anyone's mind on how they believe? No, I'm just asking that you turn your card over. What is that card game? Or is it Asshole or... I forget but like you take the card and you put it up on your own foot. You can't see it, but you can see everybody else's. Just lay your cards out. We're both all in on this hand of poker. Let's see the turn in the river, but first flip your 3 cards. What do you got? Just be honest. If you think Israel's the devil, it's a synagogue of Satan, and since 1913 they've been kicked out of all these countries because nobody likes them because they always do this stuff, and economic slavery with their bankers and just warmongering and Israeli supremacists trying to conquer the globe, and they're worshiping a false god, satanic idol. Then say it. full-throatedly. That's all I'm asking. Alexander Hamilton, Federalist paper number 22, allegedly said, according to the Cull Actual, one of the weak sides of republics among their numerous advantages is that they afford too easy an inlet to foreign corruption. Organic integration or close alliances allow foreign powers to gain an improper ascendant in our councils, flouting the public good. George Washington Farewell Address 1796, there can be no greater error than to expect or calculate upon real favors from nation to nation. It's an illusion, which experience must cure, which a just pride ought to discard. Thomas Jefferson, letter to Charles Pinckney, 1802. Alliance with any power whatsoever is what we ought most assiduously to avoid. We wish to draw our ties of commerce as close as possible with all nations, but avoid all political connections. Patrick Henry, Virginia Ratifying Convention, 1788. They spelled that wrong, so now I'm questioning the validity of these quotes, but let's go with the gist of the comment regardless. And if any of this is wrong, please tell me and I'll address it. Because I don't know this account, the Cull Actual. But if these are actual quotes, let's absorb them. Guard with jealous attention the public liberty. Suspect everyone who approaches that jewel. Unfortunately, nothing will preserve it but downright force. When you give up that force, you are inevitably ruined. So that's what you got there, folks. That's what you got there. Hit the thumbs up button, hit share so you can share the show with a friend. And if you would like to help set this weekend in motion as I go toward rapid fire X round here, please consider signing up as a monthly sponsor on Patreon, YouTube, or Rumble. Drop a YouTube super chat or Rumble rant tip. Always appreciate those. I'm here working off tips. Or Venmo Cash App at Brian Engelman or PayPal at fuzzinstallment@yahoo.com. All right, pinned at the top of our X account is the link to our Patreon page. It's that simple. Click it, sign up, and for as little as $5 a month, you can really help us go somewhere. Why are the Cavs trending with the Heat? Yeah, super disappointing. Yeah, I don't even want to read about it. Check out yesterday's show, Anthony Fauci versus Rand Paul and We the People, Showdown for COVID Justice News. All right, let's dig into this. This is Jack Posobiec. I once reported on Jack Posobiec's program for Real America's Voice as a correspondent in the Bronx, New York at a Trump rally, where I repeatedly and increasingly throughout the day felt as though there might have been an assassin somewhere close. I just had a bad feeling. And it was maybe a month later that President Trump was shot by an assassin, an attempted assassin. Here's Jack Posobiec breaking down this Shiloh Hendrix case with Libby Emmons. Do you know about this case? How should you feel about it? Let's take a listen.
No, and this is why I want to dig into this. I want to look at the nuts and bolts of it. We have to look at the actual case as well, look at the actual details, but at the same time, we have to be cognizant of the context. And the context is this is the United States of America, and we have freedom of speech. And that doesn't mean speech you like, and that doesn't mean speech you agree with, and speech that's pretty all the time and friendly and flowery and super cordial. This isn't like afternoon tea speech. Okay, it means freedom of speech. It means we don't put people because here's the problem, right? And Libby, this is what I said, and I tweeted this out, and I said, well, this is an example of the anti-white system at work, because of course it's a white person who gets put on trial for speech in this case. That I could think of hundreds, thousands of times where people have gotten into a fight at the park, or people have hurled insults at each other in public, but you don't go to jail for it. But you notice the first one they put on trial is a white mother.
Yeah, and that's what's going on. And if we look back at the circumstances of this case, it starts out with something that every mom can relate to. This woman went to a park near her home in Rochester. She put her bag down, her diaper bag down. She's chasing her 18-month-old son around the park. Another kid, 8 years old at the time, his dad says that he's autistic to the point where there was a GPS monitor on him, courtesy of the Rochester Police Department, because of how often.
I'm sorry, wait a minute. Sorry, wait. The police put a monitor on a child?
Yes. The father testified that there was a monitor on his son, courtesy of the Rochester Police Department. He was there with 3 kids. The 8-year-old, I believe, was the middle child.
Okay, so the father testifies that he has this child, he knows there's issues, and that there's a
tracking device on a kid. So this is like a really bad kid?
Tracker on the child. Okay, I'm just going to go with that. And yet for some reason he wasn't completely on top of this boy the entire time, if he knew that he had issues like this.
Problem child?
Yes, and also the father, who is Somalian, was speaking through a translator, and through that translator told the court that his 8-year-old autistic son with an ankle monitor does not know how to follow rules. So this boy went into the diaper bag, Shiloh Hendrix's diaper bag, pulled out a snack apparently and stuffed it in his mouth. His dad testified again through the translator that his child is very curious and likes to take things and test them out with his mouth. So that apparently is what the child had done. Miss Hendrix was angry, went over to the child, hurled these slurs at the child, and then was filmed by a third party, another Somalian man who was at the park, who then taunted her and urged her to keep saying it for the camera. And she did keep saying it. He posted it on the TikTok. And it wasn't until that video went viral and 10 days after the initial playground incident that the father of the 8-year-old contacted first the NAACP in Minnesota, and the NAACP told him to contact the police, which he then did. The NAACP then launched a fundraiser for this father.
Okay, so that's a lot of the background on that story. By the way, thank you, Kenneth, off the top rope with the super chat. $10 tips for that. Tit for tat, tips for that. Here, let me throw it over my show. I need to make a sound for like a silver coin clanking in the tip jar back here. Thank you, Kenneth. It's a great way to help kick off this weekend. Now, this is the accusation. Let's hear this accusation, because I've read this and I want to do a little bit more checking on it. But the Shiloh Hendrix case, the man that she was convicted of disorderly conduct against, well, who is this guy at the center of this racist case here?
Here's something you guys probably don't know, and the media won't tell you about the Shiloh Hendrix case, is that the man that she was found guilty of disorderly conduct against, the man recording the video, his name is Sharmek Omar. Here he is. He's the same man that in 2022 faced felony charges of sexual contact with a 16-year-old girl in Minnesota. The alleged victim was a 16-year-old girl who had run away from her foster care placement in Farmington, Minnesota. She hitched rides south and met Muhammad, allegedly his brother, where he offered her a place to stay at Rochester trailer home. At the trailer, Omar allegedly tried to give her alcohol and demanded sexual acts, saying she needed to, quote, take care of him because he was taking care of her. Sharmek later arrived, and she was similarly told to take care of him. The girl reported being raped and sexually assaulted by both men multiple times over roughly 2 days. Her shoes were allegedly taken so she could not leave easily. She later left wearing ill-fitting rain boots and reported foot pain. When examined, she was described as sleep-deprived, dehydrated, and without recent food.
This is just like those Pakistani grooming gangs in England, by the way.
She disclosed the allegations to a former foster care acquaintance.
Why would we want people like this flooding into our country to abuse our people? This is the father of the autistic kid who can't control his impulses. Huh. Kind of like the Pakistani grooming gang people. Kind of like you, Dad. Can't control your own impulses, huh? But yeah, America's a melting pot. Let everyone in. Everyone. There should be no basic checks to make sure you're not a monster. Cool story.
Who took her to Children's Minnesota Hospital in Minneapolis for a sexual assault nurse examination and reported it to Rochester police. She identified both men in a photo lineup. A search warrant recovered items consistent with her account, including her glasses in one of the men's vehicles and a towel she had used. Now, the timeline of that case.
By the way, there seems to be ample evidence of this, but the charges were dismissed. Dismissed charges. Tim Walz is saying, hey, you got rid of that convicted sex offender. Tell me how that makes Minnesota a safer place. 100% safer. I don't want to share a community with sex offenders. 0. 0 is the number of sex offenders I want to live next to, that I want to trust my kids around. 0. Tim Walz running Minneapolis into the ground, Minnesota into the ground.
Sharmek was arrested in February 2022 and pled not guilty in August of that year. Charges against Muhammad were filed around late August 2022. He was arrested and later pled not guilty. Both cases proceeded for years until Olmsted County Attorney's Office dismissed the charges against both men on or about March 14th, 2025.
Why?
Court documents state the dismissals were in the interest of justice.
What?
With no further public explanation provided.
And by the way, this is all matching up with what I'm using Grok, artificial intelligence. Just give me the basic brass tacks of this. It all appears to be lining up with what this gentleman's saying. I'm not super familiar with this guy, or I'm not familiar with him at all, whoever's talking here. America, Papa Bear. But yeah, the story is checking out. In the interest of justice, you don't prosecute and throw away the key on sex offenders. That's the opposite of justice. We are in Orwellian newspeak territory.
Available reports. That's the state of the Somali-invaded, communist-run state of Minnesota. You have a white mother who catches a child stealing from her bag, and a guy baiting her by recording her, and she calls him a couple of words, the N-word. She gets...
Okay, let me clarify something Grok is saying. The man who filmed and confronted Shiloh Hendrix, who's often described as the instigator in the video, was previously accused of S crimes with charges dismissed in the interest of justice. And I use air quotes for that. Not seeing Muhammad in here, but they're saying this is distinct from the child's father, identified in court coverage as Shiri Jamale, who does not appear to have faced any such accusations in available reporting. Some online discussion mixed up the two men. So it wasn't the out-of-control kid's father. It was the person with the video, the accused S offender. That's who that was. Okay.
Convicted of...
Yeah, so now Shiloh Hendrix, because she didn't want the child stealing from her, and she's sick of living in Minneapolis, in an invaded city, in a conquered state, got angry that people were rifling through her stuff and taking her stuff, stealing from her. And she said naughty words.
With no further public explanation provided in available reports.
And they are naughty words. I don't run around saying these naughty words. But on the flip side, for the love of God, if you're going to put it in every other movie I'm watching, every other hip hop song on the radio, like, no, you can't have your cake and eat it too. Either everyone retires this word and we're just gonna move on, or everybody's using the word and it is what it is. That's been my long time stance on this forbidden word.
That's the state of the Somali-invaded, communist-run state of Minnesota. You have a white mother who catches a child stealing from her bag, and a guy baiting her by recording her, and she calls him a couple of words, the N-word.
Yeah, the guy's baiting her. Child, say it again. Come on, in your face. Now you got a nut. You don't just have one kid stealing. Now you got somebody shoving a camera in your face, getting all up in your space. Like, angry people say nasty things. Free speech, it's not a crime.
Gets convicted of disorderly conduct.
That's what they came up with. It's disorderly conduct to exercise your freedom of speech.
For words. For exercising her First Amendment right to free speech. By the same guy who miraculously got let off the hook for sexually assaulting a 16-year-old girl.
Yeah, an underage girl, mind you.
But the media isn't going to report on that, right? They're going to report on the horrible, racist white woman, not the third world migrants who have invaded our country, who are running around sexually assaulting our children. This just adds another layer of total fuckery to this case. And if this doesn't light a fire under your ass as an American citizen, I don't know what will.
All right. Matt Walsh says, so wait a second. We were told that Shiloh Hendrix had berated a child. That was allegedly the reason the Somali guy started filming and harassing her. But the jury acquitted her of disorderly conduct against the child and convicted her of disorderly conduct against the guy with the camera who was baiting her and harassing her and bothering her, who was accused of abusing a 16-year-old girl. Interesting. Matt continues, which means she actually didn't say anything to the kid. She was being harassed by the guy with the camera for no reason, and now she's been convicted of a crime simply for telling the guy to leave her alone. This is total madness. Oh, sorry. Got to take this off the screen. There we go. Now we can see it. Huh. So there's no evidence anything was said bad to the kid that was stealing with an ankle monitor, 8 years old with an ankle monitor, an out of control kid doing improper actions. She receives a year of probation, 200 hours of community service, a $1,000 fine, and a stayed 90-day jail sentence. Not guilty on any charges connected to the child. Guilty on the charge related to her conduct toward the man.
Do you call him a nigger, the child? Do you call him a nigger, the child?
The fuck you talking
Did you
about?
call the child the nigger word?
None of your fucking business.
It is.
And he goes, what the fuck are you talking about? It's not your fucking bit. A woman being harassed by a dude filming her, accusing her of doing something that the jury didn't find her guilty of doing, guilty of using a word, which would not be a good look, and I wouldn't recommend. I don't do. But now I'm looking at this whole case differently now. Yeah, you're welcome for moving that. I'll try to. Man, I don't have enough screen. I should probably have 3 or 4 screens here. I have 3. I should probably have 4 or 5. But yeah, sometimes when I'm reading I'm looking too in depth at one, and I'm not seeing the shaping and the format of the screen. But yeah, let me move this off now. So let's see.
Do you call him a nigger, the child?
The fuck you talking
Did you
about?
call?
Her reaction to that harassment is, what the F are you talking about? So there's no admission of that.
Did you call him a nigger, the child?
The fuck you talking
Did you
about?
call the child the nigger word?
None of your fucking business.
It is my business.
And it's none of your effing business. Why we got this guy trying to start a fight with a lady at a park? You creep. The guy filming who allegedly abused a 16-year-old for multiple days. A grooming gang guy. It's a grooming gang guy. I'm going to lure you in here. I'm going to get you drunk. I'm going to force you to do things. And I'm just going to use you up like a rag doll, like a filthy animal. Because the grooming gang people are filthy animals. So that's the guy talking and pushing this lady. How comfortable would you be if you had some Somali guy creeping on you and bothering you and filming you at this point? If that were my lady, I would not be very happy about this at all.
Business. You call him a nigger? Okay, why don't you have the boss to say it right now again?
Fuck you,
Nigger. Okay. Nigger. All right, that's what you say.
She told this guy, get out of my face. F you. Bad word, bad word, bad word.
Nobody dig into your shit.
A little fucking kid just did, you dumbass.
That little kid, you call him a nigger? Yeah. The little child?
What if he acts like one, he's gonna...
Are you a...
Oh, now she does say yeah. And she says, yeah, if he acts like one, I'm going to call him one. Okay, so she does say it there.
Little kid, you call him...
No, I don't have a team in this. I don't care. I'm just trying to articulate what is happening.
Him a nigger? Yeah. The little child?
What if he acts like one, he's gonna...
Are you about to hit him? You chase him here?
He took my son's stuff.
So that gives you the right to call the child, 5-year-old, a nigger, the N-word.
If that's what he's gonna act
That's
like.
what you're gonna call him.
That's what he's gonna act like.
You know, that's a hate speech. And you can be recorded for that.
I don't give a shit.
See, and this is what's happened in Europe. That's a hate speech. God, there's so many cases. Justice for... Who was that guy that was stabbed by the Sikh with that curly squiggly knife? He says he said a hate speech, so I'm allowed to kill him. No, you're not. No, you're not, and there's no evidence of that, by the way. If someone slanders you and says something mean, you don't get to kill them. Henry Nowak. And there's been a cultural training. Aha, if I can get you to say something, I can destroy your life. Ha, 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 ha. Listen to how happy this guy sounds.
You chase him here?
He took my son's stuff.
And she's like, I am pissed because you're stealing from me. And if anybody's angry, you can expect mean things to be said, can't you? Upset people will say mean, biting, offensive things. There's a First Amendment right to do so. And if someone says something mean, no, you do not have the right to become violent toward them.
So that gives you the right to call the child, 5-year-old, a nigger, the N-word.
If that's what he's gonna act
That's
like.
what you're gonna call him.
That's what he's gonna act like.
You know, that's a hate speech.
That's a hate speech. There's no such thing in America. There's no such thing. Do you think the First Amendment was written so that we could discuss? It's 80 degrees outside today. No. Hey, it turns out that big potential free agency signing in the NBA didn't go our way. No, that speech doesn't need to be protected. Offensive speech is protected. That's a hate speech. That's a hate. Oh, that's a hate speech. That's a hate speech. There's no such thing.
Nigger, the N-word.
If that's what he's gonna act
That's
like.
what you're gonna call him.
That's what he's gonna act like.
You know, that's a hate speech. And you can be recorded for that.
And you can be recorded for that. And you can be punished for that, is what he's saying. Ha ha, I got you. Just like I got that 16-year-old girl, allegedly. Because I'm a grooming gang guy. Allegedly. That's a hate speech. There's no such thing. First Amendment protects all hateful speech.
You know, that's a hate speech. And you can be recorded for that.
Ha ha, and I got you for that. And I will take you, I will ruin your life for that. That's a hate speech. No, it's not. There's no such thing.
You know, that's a hate speech. And you can be recorded for that.
I don't give a shit.
Huh.
Huh.
Okay, we'll see about that, what the internet has to say about you. You call him a...
We'll see what the internet has to say about you.
You call him a nigger, the child?
The
Did you?
Two men accused of esrily assaulting Mohammed and Sharamaki, but I don't think the father of the kid, but it's the instigator here. You say, no, she's the instigator because she said a bad word. And you go, no, it was the kid that was stealing shit out of her bag that was the instigator. You think she just showed up and saw somebody that looked differently and said, I'm going to say mean shit to you? That would be pretty indefensible. Well, it's equally indefensible if she's going to drop the N-bomb just because some kid's rifling through her purse and stealing shit. I can't disagree with that. And also, so what? Who cares? Protected speech. So what? You can call her an evil person. You can say, I don't like her. I don't respect her. That's classless. She sucks. She should be unemployable for the rest of her life. And if you defend her, you're just as bad. No, that's not how that works. Nice try, but no. Freedom of speech protects uncomfortable speech. Thank you. Why is that guy in the park videoing children that are not his? Check his hard drive. Yeah, the third guy can't say the word enough times. Again and again and again and again. Rob says, there's no such thing as hate speech, but you can't get them to understand that. Dina says, this ain't Europe, dude. Well, when you import the third world from Europe, you're going to get third world activities.
Call the child the
All right. Not guilty on a charge related to the child. Disorderly conduct for calling this guy who's harassing her a bad name. Yeah, here's Tim Waltz talking about the removal of by ICE of an S offender.
Did that make us any safer? Did that make the children that are left behind any more stable? Did it improve the idea that we can't all be judged by our worst day? And I want to be very clear, these are horrific crimes.
Judged by our worst day. Wow. I have never AR'd somebody on my worst day.
You call him a nigger?
Shiloh Hendrix says American Nightmare found guilty by Minnesota jury using the N-word. If you're a pedophile and you get a pardon from the governor himself, Tim Walz says you shouldn't judge child molesters based purely on their decision to R a child, but on how they live the rest of their lives. Say the wrong word, convicted. R a child, forgiven, rehabilitated, protected. Minnesota priorities in 2026. Pro-America politics says Shiloh Hendrix convicted of a crime for racist speech. Meanwhile, here's 5 minutes of Stephen A. Smith dedicating an entire show to ripping on white basketball players. Two-tier justice has arrived in America. Drew says, here's a prosecutor in the Shiloh Hendrix case, a pasty white man who's oddly obsessed with Somalians. Why are you wearing a Somali flag in Minnesota, dude? What a world. What a world. That's why we log in. We talk about what's going on. There's a whole bunch of other stories sitting in the stack for our X account. So go to @American_media_ and check it out. That's where we're going to put a pin for now. And we will plan on being back on Monday, noon Eastern time. Stay tuned for any special evening shows. I like the concept. I just have to figure out exactly how that's going to look. But for now, oh boy, today's show was a weird one. But a good one, I think. I hope. Signing out on behalf of everybody out there in the TNAM universe. I appreciate you. I love you. Whew. Can't we all just get along? And I'll talk to you soon. Take care, everybody. Peace.
Thank you. your guide to the truth. TheNewAmericanMedia.com.